Hi there friends, it's John again. I did say to you a couple of days ago that I'd make another video about my journey and foray into what was to become a life. And where I got up to the other day was sharing with you how Mandy and I had met, and we'd gotten married, and then I've just shared with you in that last video how in about that 7th year I became absolutely terrified about how well things were going. And the reason for that was because I had my PhD in failure. I was very, very successful at that. However, what I wasn't used to was how well things were going. Those gifts of recovery were coming back. My relationship with my wife Mandy was cleaning up well. We'd had a daughter by then. Everything was going okay, but I wasn't able to format that into a fashion where I could really take it on board, and I began to not be honest with others. That thought twisted inwards, and it presented me with, look how well you're going. You don't need to do that service anymore. You don't need to be with those people in those hospitals and go speak to them. And I began to listen to it. And I began to step away from my life support machine. The reason things were going so well is because I was doing those suggested things in the rooms of recovery, service, having an understanding of what those 12 steps mean in my life, beginning to understand what it is to begin to help others who still suffer. And I twisted away from that. And in the space of 8 or 9 months, my meetings dropped from 2 or 3 a week, 3 or 4 a week, to 2 or 3 a month, to 2 or 3 every couple of months, and I was away. And I forgot all those things that I needed to be reminded of on a daily basis, those being the things that I get to remember when I'm in those rooms. Don't pick up the first drink, you won't get drunk. How important is it? Think, think, think. All those little things I'd forgotten. Now, physiologically and psychologically, we forget the way we are built. We forget how painful things are. And here I am, away from my life support machine, forgetting the pain of the last time that I drank. And here's my wife forgetting the beginning of our relationship, how painful it was. It was our 9th wedding anniversary. My mother had gathered enough courage to look after the twins and my daughter for a night, and we're in town. 9th wedding anniversary, we're in town, and Mandy had forgotten how painful things were at the beginning of our relationship, and she said to me, now there's no anger or malice when I say this to you. Mandy had forgotten what happened at the beginning of our relationship. And she said to me, John, do you think you'd be able to have a drink with me tonight? And what am I going to do? Here's the girl I dragged through a couple of years of carnage at the beginning of our relationship, giving me permission to have a drink. And here's me, away from the things that were keeping me sober. I had 4 beers that night, and what I'm about to share with you is the progression and how swiftly it happens of the disease of alcoholism in John. When that first beer went in, I'm thinking to myself in the back of my mind and the bottom of my heart, I knew that this wasn't on, but I didn't care. And I had 4 beers that night. You know what? We had the best night that we've had in a long time up till then. But I'm setting up that 6-pack the following Saturday. I had 4 beers that night. The following Saturday, I bought myself a 6-pack. My wife, Mandy, who was right behind this camera right now, said to me, what the are you doing, when I was having that 6-pack? And my alcoholic ego presented as such, oh, she'll be right. And the next day I was drinking more than I was 8 years beforehand. That was to begin a reign of terror in my life, where the next 3.5 years I drank myself silly. I was very blessed not to lose anything physically, bar for the really important stuff, that ability to look myself in the mirror and say, you know what, John, I love you and you're doing okay. The trust and the respect of my wife and children, the self-dignity and self-respect, all that gone. That was to last for 3.5 years, until there was a moment that happened where I came home and Mandy's anger, her disappointment, her discouragement and her fear has all pinpricked into this one moment where it was the end. And we will get to that tomorrow, because I could gather a blather on for hours, but I'm not about to. Mandy's arm's getting sore behind the camera there. So we're going to let you go. Again, thank you so much for listening. Leave your comments, leave your questions. Again, I will answer them to the best of my ability, and we will catch you soon. I'd like to say tomorrow, but I can't guarantee that. Things are busy. We'll catch you soon, hey? Bye now.